Alrighty, guys, we're back for Rakdos Outlaws, and this is a Dragonstorm Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. We have all four Vengeful Bloodwitch, 2 mana 1/1 Vampire Warlock. Whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Awesome ability, and not the only way to poke the opponent's face in here. We also have a couple Vial Smashers. It's a 2 mana 3/2 legendary creature goblin mercenary. Whenever another outlaw you control enters, Vial Smasher deals 1 damage to target opponent. And by the way, guys, outlaws are assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks. Cool stuff. Not the only way to poke the opponent's face. We have another one. Rakish Crew here on the top end as a 2-of. It's a 3 mana enchantment. When it enters, you create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery, but that's not why it's in here. It's in here for this bottom ability. Whenever an outlaw you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Awesome stuff. Also here on the top end, we have all 4 Howlsquad Heavy because there's a tiny goblin theme packed in. I'm not going to take the time to go over it right now, but yeah, all 4 of them should be excellent here on the top end. It is a mercenary, so it is an outlaw. Laughing Jasper Flint also on the top end, also not going to take the time to go over it. It's a rogue, so it is an outlaw. But we do have a card packed in here that's actually not an outlaw, and that's Stadium Headliner. All 4 of them making the cut. It's a 1 red mana 1/1 with Mobilize 1, so when this attacks, you create that tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Also on Headliner, a bottom ability for 1 and a red. Sacrifice this creature and deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature. So I think Stadium Headliner is going to pair beautifully with that Vengeful Bloodwitch, but then also it's a Goblin Warrior, so it's going to pair nicely with that Howlsquad Heavy too. More goblins packed in. We have Fanatical Firebrand, which is a Goblin Pirate, so this one is in fact an outlaw. 1 red mana, it's a 1/1 with haste. You can tap it, sack it, deal 1 damage to any target. Again, another one that should pair beautifully with that Vengeful Bloodwitch. Now we do have all 4 Gas Guzzlers packed in, which happens to be a rogue. Another way to start your engines for the Howlsquad Heavy too. And it fits the tiny sacrifice theme too. Once you actually have max speed, you can pay a black mana, sacrifice another creature or vehicle, draw a card. Cool stuff. Now we have all 4 Forsaken Miners, which is a card that we wouldn't mind sacrificing. So 1 black mana 2/2. It can't block, unfortunately. But whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1 black mana. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. Then we have a couple Corrupted Convictions for some card draw, and maybe we'll sacrifice that Forsaken Miner for that card draw. But also you could sacrifice things like the Warrior that's going to sacrifice itself anyways. So just a couple of them. We'll see how it does today. Fitting the outlaw theme, we got Shoot the Sheriff in here, but this could totally be your removal of choice. We'll see how much this ends up hitting. Now we also have another new one, Sidisi, Regent of the Mire. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it, but it's a 2 mana 1/3 legendary creature, zombie, snake, warlock. Nice. So you can tap it, sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X other than Sidisi. Return target creature card with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. That's pretty interesting. I like it. Over in the mana base, guys, opting for a bunch of fast land with all 4 Blackcleave Cliffs. We have all 4 of the Verge. We have 3 Sulfurous Springs and a Fountainport making the cut this time around as well. Over in the honorable mentions, Amonkhet Raceway could have been cool in here. Another way to start your engines and whatnot. So Unscrupulous Contractor also over here in the honorable mentions. Could have been cool on the top end. Could be a good budget trade-in potentially. And Momentum Breaker is a good one if you want to trade out that Shoot the Sheriff for this. Momentum Breaker doesn't commit a crime, but not too many cards in here care about committing crimes. So just what, the Forsaken Miner? Definitely something to consider here. Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I think it's actually going to be pretty good, man. I don't know. It's been a while since we revisited Outlaws. I think it's going to be fun. So I'd say that's the most important thing. Ooh, I like this hand. Opponent goes first. That's unfortunate, but I like this hand. See what the opponent plays here. Aha, it's a tapped land. We're safe, guys. We're safe. Okay, we can get the Blackcleave Cliffs down, and we will go with the Gas Guzzler. Totally fine. Yep, we start our engines. Okay, shadowy backstreet. More tapped land. That's probably great news for us, right? So I wouldn't mind establishing Blood Witches here, which I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to get the Verge down and Blood Witch before the swing, and then swing. All right. Good news, guys. No removal. We get 2 through. Speed is up to 2. Up the beanstalk. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, guys. Now I'm afraid to go wide. But another Blood Witch could be pretty good if their fourth isn't... If their fourth is like Day of Judgment, right? At least that says destroy. However, if next turn is another tapped land and they just go... temporary lockdown or something. It's fine. Everything's fine, guys. We're going for it, man. Go, 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 go. Okay, opponent. All right, what you got for me? It's an untapped land. It is a Day of Judgment, so we do get a ton of damage here with the Blood Witches, which is great news, actually, right? The question is, how the heck are we going to get the rest of this through? Still need to get 6 damage through. The Regent of the Mire doesn't have haste. Other words, that would be pretty sick to sacrifice the Forsaken Miner and bring back a Blood Witch. This is definitely too much mana. All right, we're just going to try to reestablish and hope it's not a Sunfall or another Day of Judgment or a temporary lockdown. Or anything. Opponent, just have land in your hand for a turn, okay? Oh, man. That's pretty funny. So there's a... Ooh, okay. That's not terrible for us. It's a couple blockers. And there's their 5th. It's going to be tapped. Right. Shoot the Sheriff isn't bad. Okay. So we can start with the swing. They block, right? If we... I mean, I guess if they block and we don't want that trade, well, like they might take the 2, but I don't think they do, right? I think it's probably better just to grab a Vengeful Bloodwitch back from the grave now. So, mana value X. So you got to actually go X is 1, right? Then choose the Blood Witch. It's the first time I'm playing with this card. Then the Forsaken Miner, sacrifice. And then I suppose we can do this at instant speed, right? So we can do that on their turn, which is actually pretty cool. Okay, that's it. We pass it back. They don't have blue over there, so I'm not concerned about them countering the Shoot the Sheriff. They got so many cards in hand, guys. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. If this Regent of the Mire really performs this game, I'm going to consider 2 of them for sure. Like, if it really pulls something off here. No, not my Regent. You monster. Okay. Yep, they draw. They still have 3. And this is an exile for it as well, so the Blood Witch doesn't ping the opponent's face, which is definitely a shame. Interested to see if they're going to start swinging here. Doesn't look like it. All right. We're going to pop an insect, bring back the Forsaken Miner. It's going to be Leyline Binding for the Blood Witch. Oh no, guys. That's really bad. I don't know what we could see off the top. Vial Smasher is actually pretty good, right? But how are we going to get through this? They definitely accept that trade. Just a couple turns till Overlord powers up. Whenever it enters, not when it dies. All right, I think we go for the swing. Hopefully we see an Outlaw off the top. Hopefully Vial Smasher survives. Then the goal here, of course, would be Outlaw, play the Outlaw. Vial Smasher deals 1 damage to target opponent. Then bring back the Forsaken Miner, right? So we're asking for a lot, man. We're asking for a lot here. Especially when the opponent's hand is nice and stocked up. Overlord of the Huntwood's going to be a great blocker. There's a lot of ways in our deck list to get around blockers, though. Having Jasper Flint. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. Okay. Target opponent, Forsaken Miner. All right, max speed. This is sick, man. This is really cool. I mean, they hit us for a 4-for-1 earlier, but we're still in this. Oh, crap. Oh no, not the Zur. Not the Zur. Not the... Ah! It's so much life gain. Right after I said we're in this, I don't think we are in this any longer. I'm just going to take it. We could double block the Overlord of the Mistmoors, but we're... But Zur kind of put a nail in the coffin. They're back up to 23. Oh, we find a Leyline Binding and a Ride's End. Wow. Okay. That's kind of no joke because we can pick up the Zur. That gets rid of the lifelink on these. They're still powered up though, right? So Swamp comes down actually makes the Leyline Binding a little cheaper too. I mean, these have hexproof as well, so we really, our only option is the Zur. Up the Beanstalk would have been great earlier, but... And then Ride's End only costs 2 now because we can target these, which means we can break the Leyline Binding, bring back the Vengeful Bloodwitch. Is that the best target, though? No, probably Overlord of the Mistmoors. Yeah, but this is more fun. I'm still pretty sure we're out of this, but wow, Laughing Jasper Flint really found some cards there. They have a double block into the Laughing Jasper. We could get the other 2 through, or they block the other 2, let the Laughing Jasper go. I think we go no attacks, even with the Forsaken Miner, because there's a chance that we find a Corrupted Conviction off the top. We want the creature on the board already to sacrifice. Okay, double up the Beanstalks and still have 5 mana open, guys. Could be another Zur. It's going to be Overlord of the Mistmoors, a couple more insects. Okay. They are going to swing. We are forced to chump this time. And the chump will be... Oh, they actually kept these insects back, too. They could have forced 2 chumps out of us. I really like my setup here, but I think the chump will be Vengeful Bloodwitch. Right, I hope so. Take the 6 here, down to 3. Because we want Laughing Jasper still around to see as much off the top as possible. Either way, they're probably going to win from the insects unless we find like a Sunfall from them or something. I hope that's okay. Back up to 4 because of the Bloodwitch ability. Opponent's down to 21. Maybe we do find a Sunfall from them, huh? I mean, that's possible. Might need to talk about more Laughing Jaspers. It's a Get Lost. Ah, it's only a Get Lost. Ah, man. So no matter what, they win in the air next turn then, so. Fanatical Firebrand is actually really sick here, too. Oh, man. See, if we would have chumped with Laughing Jasper instead, but that was like our best bet, I would say. And I guess we can pop pretty much. I mean, I guess the Overlord that's powered up right now, the Overlord of the Mistmoors in this scenario. And then I'll wait for their turn to pop the Fanatical Firebrand. Actually, I'll swing with the Forsaken Miner this time too. Get an insect out of the sky. And then the Fanatical Firebrand's going to get another insect out of the sky too, but at that point we could have full swung for fun, but all right, another everywhere. Guys, am I crazy or did the deck list totally perform here? Another one from the Vial Smasher because that is a crime, from the Fanatical Firebrand. And it'll double block the Overlord of the Huntwoods. Dude, good game, opponent. That was a fun one, actually. I mean, if they missed the Zur, we had a real chance, dude. I really believe that. How often are they going to miss the Zur, though, is the question. If it's the main build around and they got up the Beanstalk stock in their hand and whatnot, probably not often. If it is the main build around, I don't know. Do they run all 4 Zurs? Probably. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure the last time I've seen like an actual list. We go up against it quite a bit, but yeah, dude, I don't know. That game just gave me a lot of confidence with this build. A lot of really cool synergies. We might have too much mana in here though. If we see as much mana as we saw last game and like this too next game, I might consider 21 mana instead of 22. I'm still gonna keep this though. We're gonna give it a shot because I think there's not a great chance of seeing more mana off the top, right? So, but if we draw mana like 2 turns in a row, that's gonna be really bad. And we'll start with the Blackcleave Cliffs, of course. Firebrand, I'll go for the swing. We don't got to keep it open. If the opponent went first, we'd probably just like... like if it was a Heartfire hero turn 1, we'd probably immediately drop Firebrand, immediately pop the hero. It's going to be a Demonic Ruckus. Okay, I'll actually go Mountain and Bloodwitch and stick to the swinging. Again, it wouldn't be terrible to keep the Fanatical Firebrand untapped, depending on what we think we're up against. With Ruckus, probably is going to be Boros Auras, which does rock mice, so we wouldn't mind Firebrand open. But since we went first, I'm just trying to do the aggro thing instead of the safe thing. Emberheart Challenger, so Firebrand wouldn't have picked up the Challenger anyways. I'm glad we swung. Alright, they find a Plains. Can't play it for the turn. We do find more mana, which is not good, but we can safely get a Sulfurous Springs down without too many worries here. And we'll get a Swamp down next turn, of course. The Challenger's a problem as soon as they have mana for a Sheltered by Ghost. Yeah, since it's a 3/3 already. Also, an option would have been keeping Burst Lightning open last turn, too. We can pop a Firebrand, pop the Challenger while it's tapped out. That's 2 cards for 1. It's not terrible, though. It's actually two of their cards, too, but the Ruckus... The Ruckus replaces itself. Vengeful Bloodwitch also dealing an extra damage there, which is pretty cool. Ruckus draws him a card. And now I'm going to keep the Firebrand back to pop their 1/1s. And we're hoping that it's not going to be another Challenger because their turn 1 wasn't a 1-drop, right? So they might just be missing their 1-drops. Yeah, right now, 5 mana is too much mana. No more lands off the top, please. If we do find lands, then I am going to consider 21. But more testing required first. Okay, Manifold Mouse also does not get picked up by the Firebrand. So we could have potentially just swung for an additional one here. Oh, too bad we don't have more burn in hand, huh? That would have been a great time to get that done. Some great news, man. No Sheltered by Ghosts is like, that's really good news for us. Okay, another Firebrand, which isn't bad. pretty hard to swing past the first strike Manifold Mouse. With Bloodwitch on the board, 2 Firebrands. If we're throwing the Firebrands at the opponent's face, that's 4 total damage, bringing them down to 9. We don't really want to do that yet. We want to attempt blocks with the Firebrand first. Another Bloodwitch off the top could be good. We might need to consider more of the Corrupted Convictions, right? Oh no, they find the Sheltered by Ghost. That's really bad news because the Bloodwitch is the target. Crap. Crap, guys. How do we get around that? I don't know. I don't want to pop the Firebrands because the best thing... I hope they don't give this trample. They go trample. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Not even worth the block then at that point, right? Okay. No blocks. Down to 13. They go up to 17. We're swapping life totals. Monstrous Rage. Bro, I'm surprised they didn't go double strike then, right? Holy cow. Oh my goodness. Vengeful Bloodwitch. Like I said, 2 of them on the board would actually be really sick. Unfortunately, the opponent has gained too much life. Lifelink being the absolute bane of our existence in these first couple games here, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm thinking of right now. I'm thinking dropping a land, going up a Corrupted Conviction, and I think we might actually make that change at the end, just based on these 2 games. But first, more testing required, right? They do go double strike this time since it has trample from the roll, and it doesn't really matter here. But like we'll block, I guess, right? Well, actually, we full block. It doesn't matter because we plan on popping the Firebrands first. So we didn't have to block with the Firebrands. We could have just blocked with the Bloodwitch because they got trample, right? We do gain a little bit here by popping them first. Up to 11. And then we take 11 total, right? So right down to 0. No, we actually gain this first. We're alive, dude. We're alive. That's awesome. All right, all we got to do is find 28 damage. Oh, they're going to throw the mouse, actually. Aw, man. Okay, we were not alive. They were up to 34 by the end there. Guys, it was close, right? Totally, totally. Yeah, 5 mana, a little bit too much. I'm at 22 lands. At 22 lands, there's going to be so many turns, right, where you want to do 2 of your 2 mana things. So you're going to want to see your 4th on 4 sometimes. Maybe you want to drop like a couple Bloodwitch out of your hand. And there's going to be so many turn 3s where you want to do a 3-drop and a 1-drop. Okay, 3 mana in the opener. I like this. Stadium Headliner with the Bloodwitch should be really cool. My opponent goes first, unfortunately. Oh, heck yeah, dude. We try this. Heartfire Hero. You just ruined my turn 1, Heartfire Hero. Actually, yeah. Using the Firebrand is better than the Burst Lightning, right? Because the Burst Lightning picks up their other mice. And there's like no question about it. You pop it before they untap, right? The Heartfire Hero gets out of hand too fast. It's a good 1-for-1 trade. In our favor, I would say. Now the Challenger gets picked up by the Burst Lightning, and we can establish the Headliner. Ooh, or the Gas Guzzler. The Gas Guzzler is probably a little bit better to establish because Gas Guzzler enters tapped, but it also doesn't get haste from the Heavy, which we're going to try to establish next turn. If we can get Heavy down, then the Headliner is a Goblin that'll get haste from the Heavy. Oh, Tersa, nice. Nice. Discard 2. They get rid of a Manifold Mouse, maybe because I popped their other mice. A Verge is pretty good. Yeah. Howlsquad Heavy before combat because it greatly affects that combat, huh? All right. All right, dude. But also, like, no more mana, please. If we find our 5th mana, I'm a little concerned about that, right? Because 22 shouldn't feel like that much. Especially in a deck list where we really want to play a lot every turn too, so... I don't know, we'll see. They do have an Offspring Manifold Mouse. That's probably why they sent the first one, right? They had an extra that they didn't think they were going to be using. So going wide here is pretty scary. They do swing. We take that down to 11, which is also pretty scary, but we don't want to lose the Howlsquad Heavy. We do find the 5th mana, guys. I was worried about it, but yeah, we found it. We can actually get that down tapped. I don't know what we're going to need the untapped 5th source for. Gas Guzzler's not quite there with the max speed anyways. So, Bloodwitch before combat. Stadium Headliner definitely before combat. And right now, opponent's at 17. Are we going to die next turn to a double strike mouse? They have Rockface Village, 2 cards in hand. I'm going to try to chump with this goblin into the Light Shatter. They block Manifold Mouse into the Headliner, even though the Headliner would be a great sacrifice to pop the Light Shatter when it comes time. Howlsquad Heavy's not going to be blocking. Okay, yep, we swing with Stadium Headliner too. We have 2 blockers back, because each creature that dies, we're going to gain off the Bloodwitch. So they do block the Gas Guzzler and Headliner. So 2 of our creatures died. They're down to 13. Speed goes up to 3. We go up to 13. They go down to 11. Sacrifice from the Bloodwitch up to 14, down to 10. Was that worth it, guys? They had really good blocks there. And the Headliner keeping that back. Oh! Sunspine Lynx on the top end, dude. Nice opponent. I like this. Not your typical mono red. And we have to be careful. Bloodwitch is no longer gaining us life. Alright, Gas Guzzler. If we already had the max speed, Gas Guzzler would be really good right now. But we don't already have the max speed. And we're going to have trouble getting past the Lynx and the Manifold Mouse for sure. Because I'd love to sacrifice the extra goblins we generate. We can keep the mountain back. There's no real reason to play it. If it was a swamp, then maybe. Right. So we swing with the goblin. I guess the Bloodwitch, they're still going to lose the 1 life. So I guess the Gas Guzzler, yeah, we're going to be able to draw here. So we should play the mountain just in case whatever we draw, we need more mana on the board, right? Yeah, so now we have max speed. But also we can tap the heavy if we need more mana too. Now we'll just play it. I was going to say, the less the opponent knows, the better, but we want to wait for their turn to sacrifice whatever we end up blocking with. I hope that's fine, because if we sacrifice something now, we could find something to play. We should at least do 1. We should at least do 1 this turn. And see what we could do here. Ooh, okay, okay. That's an extra chump blocker, but now we won't have mana on the board. However, whenever an outlaw you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Unfortunately, we're not gaining any life here, which is actually pretty brutal. Now they have the Rockface Village. They decide not to do it, even though they have 5 open mana. With the double strike, we have to chump here, right? At 11, guys, we're at 11. A monstrous rage won't be enough. They need 1 more thing. but I'm still going to keep Bloodwitch back just in case we're no longer generating. Never mind. I'm going full blocks, man, because they're at 6 and the crew's on the board too. I'm hoping this is okay. I don't know, man. It's tough to tell. We like 2 cards in the opponent's hand. I think they could get there with a Monstrous Rage and a Burst Lightning. There's one piece of the puzzle. Okay. Now another 4 gets through and the chumps are happening. The opponent loses 2 here because that was a... Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. I think... Did we just win this turn, actually? Oh, we did. Oh, nice. I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, because 3 Outlaws were dying and 2 different cards were punishing them for those 3 Outlaws dying. So 6 damage. Wow, dude. I was so focused on just surviving. I wasn't even thinking twice about the damage that was about to go through. Holy cow, guys. I mean, the deck list synergies are really impressive to me. I'm very, very tempted to end on a high note, but the games have been relatively fast. So we're just going to try one more, win or lose. I'm satisfied. And even in the losses, like, it totally did the thing, right? Like, I'm kind of impressed. Yeah, this is cool. All right, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? And the hands have been decent too. The big thing that I'm seeing is we're getting a lot of mana, which, by the way, all the extra mana came into play last game when we drew on our turn to get the crew down. So that's important. Okay, we can successfully start our engines. Okay, Bloodwitch is pretty good. I think I'm just gonna go... Yeah, never mind. I'll play Bloodwitch before combat, see if it lands. It sure does. Now let's see if they exile the Guzzler. They do not. Wow, nothing from the opponent for turn 2 and temporary lockdown. Alright, I think that the Rakish Crew is going to be the play. Like, get this down and established. Even though this is the opponent's going to be playing a Get Lost style deck list, just having things established seems good to me. And even if a Get Lost does pick up the crew, then at least we got a 1/1 mercenary from it still, right? So that's kind of important. Jace, okay. So luckily we can still use the mercenary ability. And I'm probably going to go... Oh, where... The mana's actually holding us up a little bit because we have so many red cards in hand. If we go like Firebrand, we can tap the mercenary, swing for 2 at the Jace. The Jace is a problem for real because 6 loyalty is no joke. That's a lot. That's a lot of loyalty, man. So if we go too wide here, we take the turn for setup with the headliner. I think we want to do a little bit of damage to the Jace. We got to go wide. We have to just say that it's not temporary lockdown number 2. Swinging at their face could be pretty good too here. Skipping the Jace until we have enough, but it goes up to 7 as it brings down one of the other things. Really tough decisions, man. I'm just going to swing face. Jace is a lot of value, but also getting our speed up could be really good too. Day of Judgment. Well, crap, huh? Now we can bring back the Forsaken Miner easily, but no way to give it like haste or anything, so they do go plus on the Jace anyways, and Howlsquad Heavy's really good here. Yeah, that's really good. We're going for that. Skipping the Jace is so sketchy. Up to 4 speed, the opponent's down to 12. And they barely played anything so far, right? It's just some Azorius control. And there hasn't been anything too surprising. A second Day of Judgment. Not even concerned about it. Not even concerned. Ooh, okay. I like that. And I think what we're going to do is at the end of their turn, Burst Lightning their face, and then bring back the other Forsaken Miner from the grave, which is like really good. See, establishing that crew as soon as possible was really good this game, right? How much life did they lose from it so far? Like 4? They do go -3 on the Jace. The Jace is at 9. Okay, all to face. Bring back the Forsaken Miner. Alright, down to 9. Unfortunately, if we had a 4 swing, that would be wild stuff, but... Okay, we're going to start with the swing. No point in swinging with the -1/2 Forsaken Miner, right? And just swing with the 2/2. If they let us. I was going to say they could have removal before combat, but it's going to be Ride's End, which unfortunately exiles, which is so brutal. I'll tell you what, if the mana base would have lined up a little better for us this game too, being able to do multiple red things on the same turn could have been pretty good. They do activate the Blast Zone. Crew gets 2 more through, but without being able to do anything else in our hand, we're in danger, bro. Oh, life gain from the Beza. Oh, no, opponent, why? More red cards, too. Okay, well, we're going to try to establish the stadium headliner, but we're in danger, dude. We're in big danger. Jace is going to be able to mill us for 30 at this point, and that's what they do. We have 15 cards remaining, which means Jace number 2 is going to be the last 15 cards. Good game, opponent. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, sometimes control is so brutal, huh? So, in that game, at the end there, you know what? I still had fun. It would have been nice to be able to do multiple red things on the same turn, but that could be how I put the mana base together, right? At the end there, technically, yeah, Firebrand was actually a really good draw, right? It's definitely worth noting that Crew specifies outlaw you control dies, and Headliner isn't an outlaw, and the warrior that the Mobilize generates, of course, is not an outlaw either. But Headliner still fitting that little bit of a sacrifice theme and still fitting that goblin theme still makes a lot of sense to me in here. End of video pack. Oh, end of video 2 packs. Okay, Duskmourn, what do we got? Aw, I've apparently collected everything from Duskmourn, which is actually great news, but... Alright, what do we got from the new stuff? Oh, dude, how about that, huh? Regent of the Mire. And one day, I'll learn how to pronounce it. Guys, Rakdos Outlaws. How cool was this? What number is that? That's my 4th one? What? Well, I don't think the deck list wants 4 of them, but even the one of this makes sense in here, right? So sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X other than Sidisi, or however you pronounce it. Return target creature card with mana value X +1 from your grave. So technically you could do X is 0, right? Sacrifice a token from like Headliner and bring back one of your 1-drops, which it doesn't bring it back tapped or anything. So you could bring back like a Firebrand, sacrifice the Firebrand, hit the opponent's face, maybe have Vengeful Bloodwitch hitting their face when you sacrifice it. Maybe you have the Vial Smasher on the board when you bring back an Outlaw. It's really cool. That's really neat. Other than that, you can sacrifice a 1-drop like Gas Guzzler or a Forsaken Miner to bring back a Bloodwitch or a Vial Smasher. Or you could sacrifice a Bloodwitch or a Vial Smasher to bring back Howlsquad Heavy or Laughing Jasper Flint. Really like this card, but the more of these you go up, if you're relying on it too much or something, maybe you have 2 or 3 of them, right? I don't know. It's like, it's a 1/3. I get a feeling that there's going to be many a turn 2 where you drop this, you're real happy about it. You're like, oh man, I'm going to be able to bring back so much from my graveyard, and the opponent just immediately drops the cut down or something. And that's kind of true for any really cool creature. Like, you really would love it to stay on the board, but it's probably going to die. And so, like, how vital is having multiple of these in here? I would say not very vital, but when you see it, it should be cool if it doesn't die right away, right? So I like the one of. I think the one of makes sense, but I don't know. It was neat. I could see two of them too. So, and the whole legendary side of things too. If you have like three of them in the build and you only have these Regent of the Mires in your hand, that's gonna feel pretty bad as well. So, if anything, I would say two. Two could be pretty cool in here. It also doesn't have haste or anything. We don't really have a great way to give it haste too. So if you are dropping it from your hand, you're sweating the entire opponent's turn that they don't remove it. I'd say it does have a relatively decent target on its back too, especially if you already have other creatures established on the board. So yeah, like the whole legendary thing, like if we had 3 Vial Smashers, that could work out, but it's another thing if you only see Vial Smasher, that's going to feel a little bad. And I don't know how incredibly vital it is to have a Vial Smasher on the board, but two of them makes a lot of sense. And that's a similar concept to the Rakish Crew here. But I actually liked this so much I could see 3 of them easily, but I wouldn't want to drop something like Laughing Jasper Flint. Guys, it didn't do that great as far as win rate, but the deck did the thing. And like I'm thoroughly impressed with what it was capable of, even though we didn't win that many. We only won 1 game today, right? And I'm a little surprised by that because of how well everything was performing. I mean, the engine got turning. It was cool, man. It was really cool. But I guess put it on the do not craft list. If you already have all the cards, I say give it a spin. I bet you'll have better luck than I had today because it was neat. I don't know. Now, let's say there's like a couple cards you're missing. Well, like maybe it's Howlsquad Heavy. Maybe you only got 2 of these, or maybe you got 3 of them. You can drop however many you don't have. You don't have to craft it. And go up like the extra Rakish Crew because this is just an uncommon. You're dropping a 3-drop for a 3-drop. It shouldn't affect the mana base too much. We got like this split over here that I've been doing. That's been working relatively well with the Verges. You can see in the mana base, we're leaning just a little bit into the swamps, and we're counting the Blazemire Verge as the black source. So we can kind of think like this is 8 swamps, this is 6 mountains, so there's our lean into the black. But even so, since we have technically more mountains than swamps, still ends up working out because we still have so many red 1-drops that we always want to be playing anyways. But also like the cliffs and the springs didn't hold us up too much today, right? With the extra damage pings. I actually feel like we barely saw this today. But anyways, we do have a little bit of life gain with the Bloodwitch too, but still only 3 Sulfurous Springs because pain lands really do bring the pain, especially in a meta that is hyper aggressive. I do like the Fountainport. We didn't get to see this either. Only a 1 of because it will hold you up sometimes. I mean, we saw in that last game, having multiple red sources on the board would have just been incredible. But what if we saw a Fountainport off the top? That would have been equally as bad as seeing an additional swamp that game too. So that being said, you know, it has that 2 mana, sacrifice a token, draw a card. I think that's excellent, especially in a deck list that has like Mobilize. But you can also generate some fishies too. And then you could sacrifice those fishies to the top ability, which works well with like the Bloodwitch as well. I don't know, man. I like the 1 of Fountainport. It's not like the most aggressive thing, but it could help you stabilize your mid game, which kind of matters in a deck list like this because it's not super hyper aggressive. So you're going to be entering the mid game more than you would like. And then hopefully you're establishing that engine in the mid game. And Fountainport is a way to sustain that engine as well. Okay, guys. Wow, lots to say. Shoot the Sheriff is fine. Whatever removal you want. I wanted to be thematic about it. I think Shoot the Sheriff is totally fine. I can't even think. I know I'm wrong about this, but I can't think of any outlaws in the meta right now. But there's definitely some. There's gotta be. Let me know in the comments what outlaws are seeing play that Shoot the Sheriff wouldn't be able to hit. Because I'll say this, if there's like no outlaws seeing play in the main meta, then why aren't we seeing more Shoot the Sheriff, right? Because if there's like no outlaws, then Shoot the Sheriff is really good removal. So there's got to be something. But yeah, just wanted to be thematic. Choose whatever removal you want. Then Corrupted Corrupted Conviction. There we go. I really want 3 of these. I do. But sometimes there's going to be moments where you actually don't have any creatures that you're willing to sacrifice. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what the drop would be. We can consider that 21 land. I was complaining about it the whole time, but then it's funny because then when we have so much excess mana, it ends up coming into play a lot of the times too. So I don't really want to drop down to 21, but I could see dropping down to 21. I would drop a Sulfurous Springs maybe, because most of the games the mana was fine. I really don't want to drop a basic. Probably the Springs because they deal so much damage to you in some matches. So drop a Springs, go up a Corrupted Conviction, but I'm just not going to change anything, guys. Yeah, I think if we played another 4 or 5 games, however many games we just played, I think there would be a chance of winning all of them. It's an unlikely chance, but I don't know. That's the vibe I get from the deck list. Yeah. Guys, let me know down in the comments, what would you add or take out? What does your Rakdos Outlaws deck list look like? Or maybe you're just playing some version of Rakdos Aggro. Let me know. I'm interested. And guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions, and I super duper appreciate you. And I will see you in the next video.